Hey there, welcome to Jackie Talks Horror. I'm Jackie, and today I'm giving a rundown of 5 horror films hitting cinemas in May and June 2026. As always, I'll be using images and trailers from the films, and I'll put links to the trailers and any articles I use in the description down below. Okay, so first up, hitting cinemas on the 1st of May is Hokum. Now I did a deeper dive into the teaser for the film and what we know about it so far in an earlier video, so if you want to check that out, I'll have a card for you in the outro at the end. Now this is the latest film from Damien McCarthy, who also wrote and directed one of my favourite films of 2024, Odyssey, and stars Adam Scott, who, whilst has been in a couple of horror films before, is probably better known for TV series like Parks and Recreation and Severance. The story follows a horror writer who travels to an isolated Irish inn to scatter his parents' ashes, only to discover the property is linked to a local witch legend. So it looks like it's going to lean into the same kind of folklore and mythology that Odyssey did, which, as it's McCarthy writing and directing, isn't really a surprise. This is definitely on my must-watch list, as I loved Odyssey. McCarthy has such a talent for telling these stories in such a manner that leaves me in awe at the end of the film, rather than in fear, which I really enjoy. So, the big question for me is whether Hokum can capture the same kind of atmosphere. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. The film is set to premiere at the South by Southwest Film Festival later this month in March 2026. So keep an eye out for some buzz and hopefully more information after that. We may even get a full trailer. So next up, and hitting cinemas on May the 15th, is Obsession. So this is another one I did a deeper dive in an earlier video, so I'll put a card in the outro for this as well if you want to give that a watch after. This is the next film from Curry Barker, director of the popular short film Milk and Cereal on YouTube, and I thought that was an amazing low-budget horror. What Milk and Cereal made very clear is that Curry Barker is far more interested in character-driven discomfort than spectacle. The horror in that film doesn't come from big set pieces or elaborate effects, but from watching normal behaviour slowly turn unsettling, and from the tease that we have had, that seems to carry over into Obsession. In an attempt to win his crush's heart, Bear, played by Michael Johnson, makes a wish on a mysterious novelty object, but in classic horror fashion, learns far too late to be careful what you wish for, as he discovers his desire comes at a price. And this feels like a modern Monkey Paw story. So, will Curry Barker be able to expand that intimate tension from Milk and Cereal to a full feature-length film without losing what made that short so gripping? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I really want to see this one, as I can't wait to see what Barker can do with a bigger budget. Could be a blessing or a curse, and I like the way he leans into personal stories. And I feel this will be a film that's less interested in explaining the mythology and more interested in putting us inside the character's head as things begin to unravel. So next up, and hitting cinemas on the 29th of May, is Backrooms. The Backrooms creepypasta started as an idea of an impossibly large extra-dimensional expanse of empty yellow-carpeted office-like rooms and hallways, accessed by accidentally exiting reality and suddenly finding yourself trapped in a strange fluorescent lit area that stretches as far as you can see in every direction. Directed by Kane Parsons and based on the original creepypasta, which Parsons later developed into a web series which ran from 2022. Remarkably, Kane Parsons was only 16 when he created the first short in the Backrooms web series, and A24 officially tapped Parsons to direct the film, and at the time of that announcement in 2025 he was 19 years old, making him the youngest director in A24's history. Parsons not only directed the series, but was also the central creative force, and had appeared in a lot of the episodes. Much of the eerie Backrooms environment was created by Parsons himself using 3D modelling software. The TV series leaned heavily into the feeling evoked by in-between spaces and environments that just seemed otherworldly, and there was every expectation that Parsons would build on that atmosphere while expanding the story for the big screen. No character names or roles have been revealed as yet, but this is an interesting cast that includes Avon Joggia, Finn Bennett, Lukita Maxwell, and Renata Rensver. It even has Chiwetel Ejiofor and Mark Duplass named as cast members, which is surprisingly exciting to see attached to a project like this. I'm a huge fan of Duplass and his creep films. They are surprisingly effective films. And for Ejiofor, he's an outstanding actor, and this is his most overtly horror-type film, and a fun genre shift from his normal films. Given how effective the original web series was at creating tension with almost no budget, and how much the web series was Parsons' personal passion, it will be fascinating to see what Parsons does with the budget for a full feature film, so this one is definitely one to look out for. Okay, so next up, and hitting cinemas on the 29th of May, is Passenger, directed by Andre Overdahl, who also directed The Autopsy of Jane Doe, which I absolutely love and don't think it gets talked about enough, as well as the well-received Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark and the slightly less horror-leaning Troll Hunter. The IMDb plot synopsis reads, a few weeks into their van life adventure, a young couple witnesses a horrific accident that leaves the driver dead. Soon, they're being pursued by a demonic stalker who's impossible to outrun and follows them wherever they go. Paramount showed the teaser exclusively in theatres, attaching it to horror screenings like Primate and later Scream 7. And from what I heard, there were strong reactions, and some even screamed at the end. Also, fans on social media were very impressed with it. It appeared to at least give a taste of the atmosphere the film is going to bring, scares and brutal killings during a road trip. Although I don't think the actual events of the teaser are going to be in the film. The film stars Melissa Leo, Jacob Scipio, and Lou Lobo, each bringing their own unique experiences, which should make for a standout horror. Because Overdahl has plenty of experience with suspense and demonic stalker horror, and a real talent for building slow creeping tension before delivering big scares as shown in Autopsy, not to mention that the teaser is already meant to have had audiences screaming in theatres. I think this is going to be about a relentless demonic stalker and a suspense-filled road trip horror experience that you won't want to miss. So last up, and hitting cinemas on the 19th of June, is The Rose of Nevada. This did the festival circus last year and earlier this year, and reviews have called it haunting and a slow-burn atmospheric dreamlike film. A mysterious boat returns to the village 30 years after vanishing. Two men join his crew hoping for better fortune. After one voyage, they find themselves transported back in time, mistaken for the original crew. Written and directed by Mark Jenkin, with a tight cast, including George McKay as Nick and Callum Turner as Liam in the lead roles. Jenkin is known for his hands-on approach, often writing and shooting and editing himself, and for his signature 16mm style that gives films a grainy retro look. He likes to keep the cast size down and intimate storytelling, as seen in his previous film, Ennis Man. The trailer is presented in a boxed almost square aspect ratio, hinting at his retro 16mm style, and suggests that like films such as Triangle, no, I think that's another underrated film, or Primer, Rose of Nevada plays with time and events in a way that will mean that as a viewer, it's up to us to work out what's happening. I'm interested in this one because Jenkin has a real talent for creating atmosphere, and early festival reactions have been very positive. With George McKay and Callum Turner leading the cast, it feels like the kind of slow burn horror that could quietly end up being one of the more interesting films of the year. So that's all for this video. That's my rundown of 5 horror films coming out in May-June this year, 2026. Which ones are you most excited to see? Or did I miss one that you can't wait for? Do leave your comments down below, and remember, this is only my opinion of these films, and it would be a boring old world if we all like the same things. Thanks so much for watching, and if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and click that bell so you don't miss what's happening next on this channel. This is Jackie signing off, take care and see you next time.